Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss the apparently the two projects coming up in Netflix. So I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on this, and I'm going to also talk a little bit about why I feel that these will be unsuccessful. And I'm going to give you my analysis as to why. So if you want to join me in this video, then please do. And if you don't know what to do by now, then, well, you should know, grabbing your drink of choice time. And again, another video here that has been sent in by one of my lovely subscribers. And it has been pointed out to me that I have not done a drink of choice with regards to my own furries. I mean, you've heard my voice enough. So at some point I will do a drink of choice video with Arthur and my two fluffy kitties, so you can also see them. So for now, this is another one from one of my lovely subscribers, and if you want to join in with this, my email is going to be coming across the bottom here now, so you can send in a video, a picture, whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be you, it doesn't have to be of anything specific, as long as it has got grabbing your drink of choice and the slogan that I use, which is the 5 o'clock somewhere, and maybe the add a little something. So if you want to join in this, then please send your videos in to me. We've had some amazing ones so far, and I'm really grateful to you all. But it just means that you are also part of my channel, which I love. So yeah, so here is the new one, and I will see you in a minute.
Meow. My name is Theo and Bella, mother and son, and we like to drink our milky. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Meow.
So thank you for everybody who has watched my recent video in regards to the lies surrounding Harry and his military career, or lack thereof. So obviously it's come out that Harry and Meghan are going to be doing two projects with Netflix. So I'd imagine that this is now last chance saloon. They haven't done anything aside from the Heart of Invictus, but that actually wasn't on Netflix, and their mocu-series, and was it one other thing they aligned their name towards? I can't remember what it was now, but it was a something and nothing. So these two projects, which one of them is going to be, apparently these are things they're passionate about, which is Harry and polo, and Meghan, which is cooking. Now, obviously, we've seen a little bit of Meghan where she's wandering around in a ball gown in a kitchen or whatever it is. So let's talk in regards to Harry first. So, because obviously I'm going to talk about why I feel that these will not be very successful, but I just feel that they're their last ditch at kind of going, right, okay, let's do something. We've got to do something to get our money. And it's either because Netflix has paid them already, so they'll be in breach of contract, or they are set to have some money and they haven't been paid it yet. Who knows? So Harry and polo. Well, we know that Harry does have a passion for polo. That's been going on for years. But I'm also going to point out, because I feel that it's very poignant to do so, and also to not let Harry forget that there are pictures that have circulated where he has treated the horses pretty badly. Now, most of you know I am no stranger to criticising Harry. I do not believe in any way, shape or form that he was this completely innocent person before meeting Meghan. I know initially a lot of people believed that he was experiencing narcissistic abuse. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think that there is an element of that going on in their relationship. I would say that there is, given how volatile both of them are. but I would think that they are as bad as each other. And we have seen evidence of Harry's poor behaviour, but I think it is very apparent that when you have somebody that doesn't have any regard for animals, this is a huge red flag, in my opinion, because that is where it starts. When you have somebody that feels it's okay to be cruel to an animal, and this isn't just me plucking something out of thin air, but most of you have seen it anyway, this picture of Harry on a horse where his spurs, I believe, have cut into a horse. And I believe there was something as well where he got very angry with a horse at one point. And there was something that come out around that as well. I firmly believe that Harry has got a terrible temper. And the only way that anyone can sustain that is if you are someone that is very, very placid, that you, in a sense, don't do anything that angers them, or you're perhaps somebody that you don't do anything to fuel that anger, which is why I'm of the belief that Harry and Meghan do not live together, because those two are too volatile and they just would not make for a healthy relationship. They just wouldn't. Especially not one that's lasted as long as it has. To be in a relationship with someone that's volatile, the other person has to be deeply submissive, to the point of where they're terrified almost, that they just will not speak out. And I know that some people possibly believe that was Harry initially, but he's not that type of personality. So he is volatile. He's got a terrible temper. And so this is why the two of them together are just too explosive. So I believe now they're in an arrangement. So we have this that's coming out where Harry is going to be doing this passion project of to do with connecting with polo. Now, why I believe this will not be a success is because unless you are a fan of Harry, perhaps a fan of polo even, it's pigeonholed. So you're going to get their sycophantic fan base, their cult, should I say, that are potentially going to watch it, or they're just going to play and then go off and do something because they're not particularly interested in it, but they just want to show support to Harry. You're potentially going to have some journalists that want to do a write-up on it, so they're potentially going to watch it to see if there's anything that needs reporting on, because, well, you know, he's high profile, so I get that. But in regards to it being a success, I don't believe it will be. And the thing is unfortunately, when you look at success, especially with things like Netflix, is they look at the viewing numbers, so the amount of people that are viewing something. So of course their mockuseries looked as if it was successful. But the only reason it was, and I've said this before in other videos, is because the world and his wife were tuned in to see if they were going to say anything about the royal family. They wanted to analyse their behaviour, scrutinize it, etc. So anyone, even if you're against them, you're still going to watch it because you wanted to, you know, journalists were watching it. So of course it looked as if it was super popular and they had this huge fan base of people watching things, when actually I would say the majority of people were people that like myself, who wanted to look at it and view it. And that's why you would see as it went on, you know, if they'd done a second one, I would say the second one wouldn't be as popular, because people are kind of thinking, well, there's not really much else they can do. But a lot of people were looking to see the lies that they were telling, so they could report on the lies, like the classic one of the way that she did the mock curtsy. You know, people were criticizing her. And it's the same with her podcast. She wasn't successful because everyone was a fan of hers and they wanted to watch and support her. They were watching it to hear what it was that she was going to say or do, because they wanted to criticize her. And understandably so. In all fairness, that would be the very reason why, I mean, not that I listened to her podcast, I actually got the transcript because I struggle, like many of you, listening to her voice. But I understand why a lot of people would listen to see what was being said. But with Harry, there isn't probably going to be much of that because it's generally around polo. So in my opinion, I don't feel that will be very successful. There's still going to be people that want to report on what he's doing and how he's behaving. Of course there are. And so it may get in the top 10 of Netflix, but it has no longevity. So it's kind of like a one hit wonder. It will be something that is put out, and it will be done. But again, it's something that doesn't require work. As I've said before, Harry is incredibly lazy. And in all fairness, I believe Meghan is too, unless she has something that perhaps she's particularly passionate about, maybe. But generally speaking, Harry is a very, very lazy person. He has not worked a day in his life. He has zero work ethic. So of course, having a sort of documentary, if you like, of camera crews following him around, playing at polo is perfect for Harry. So it's literally, I feel that they've sat there and gone, okay, what can we do for Harry that requires minimal effort, that he actually might show up and do something? Oh, I know, let's do polo, because it's literally the only thing that he has. And again, Invictus was the same type of thing. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has to show up because the veterans are there. They're doing what they do. But then, in a sense, they make it about themselves, which is what they did. And Harry will do the same type of thing with polo. It will be about him. It will be about the polo. But it won't be successful, in my opinion, because in the right way, because it's very subjective to either you are a fan of Harry or you're a fan of polo. And so I think people were going to find it quite boring. So that is why I don't believe that anything Harry does is going to be a success, especially given how we see him now. Now, if he'd have done this a few years ago, well, I say a few years ago, maybe prior to Meghan, when the illusion of Harry being this likable chap, one of the lads, was there, then yes, I imagine it could have been incredibly successful, because, and that's probably why Netflix signed them up fairly early, because they thought it was going to be that. But now we've seen the truth, our eyes have been opened, and we see Harry for the spoilt, entitled man-child that he is. So that is why people are also going to boycott out of the sheer fact of, of what he's done. So there's going to be people that are going to potentially boycott, that might have watched before out of loyalty and respect to the royal family, and also thinking Harry was a likable person when he's not. So that is why I don't believe that he will be successful. And again, give me your opinions. Tell me what you think, because if you differ from what I think, then I always love to have a debate on that and have interesting perspectives. Now, when it comes to Meghan, again, Meghan is going to be in the same slot, I believe, as her podcast. So when this airs, it's very possible that we are going to see it go either into the top 10 of Netflix or even hit number 1. Now, the reason being is because people are not watching it to support her. Well, I mean, her sycophantic cult fan base are, but most people are going to be watching this because they are going to want to pull it apart. And I say that, which doesn't sound like a very nice thing to do. And in general speaking, it isn't. However, when you have behaved the way you have, when you have built your life on a lie, which has now been exposed, and when you are continuing that lie, and mainstream media is continuing that lie, when they are attempting to shut down freedom of speech or freedom of expression because they're so scared of people coming out negative about them, it angers people. And it incites, in a way, people to kind of go, you know what? I'm going to keep exposing you. The best thing Meghan and Harry, in a way, could have done would have been, if they wanted to leave the royal family, go off, be quiet, do their own thing, not get involved in any drama, not create the lies and all of the bullying and etc. that's come towards the royal family, just gone on, lived their life, been happy, and none of us would have said anything about it. Nobody. And in fact, to be honest, most of us, if they'd have been likable people, we would be absolutely championing them, or I would have been, and supporting them. The reason we're not, and the reason why we're so publicly against them, is because they keep doing the very same thing. There's the great saying, you know, it is the height of idiocy to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. They keep doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting that the public is going to change their opinion. Now, the mainstream media are just in it for the money. So they are going to print whatever it is that they believe creates them money. But what I am angered about, and a lot of you are angered about, is that it seems to be a lot more positive than it does seem negative. They're not printing the truth. They're happy to go after other people and attack them and call them out for an edited photograph or whatever it is. But those two, no. So that says to me that there is an agenda going on behind the scenes. And I know that some people have told me to be careful. But at the moment, I will say that I feel like I'm too small a channel to be on their radar. Maybe once I get to the 100,000 mark, maybe that will change and I will have to be a little bit more careful in what I say. In which case I will find another platform so I will do my videos here, but I will find another platform where I'm not censored. Because there is censorship on YouTube, unfortunately. It does seem that, weirdly enough, that people, they're not censored if they want to attack the people that defend the royal family, or I mean the crazy things that I've seen on YouTube that seems to be allowed, but just a simple video of talking out about their bad behavior or showing proof of, say, Harry's lie military career, then people get shut down or censored. So we know that this is going on. So to me, this is why people like us do what we do, because we wanting the truth to be known, and that should continue. If you're so terrified of the truth coming out that you're having to attempt to get people shut down, that speaks volumes, in my opinion. Because if there was no truth to any of the things that we're talking about, then we could just be seen as conspiracy theorists. But the fact that people are being threatened and whatever it is, that tells you that there is some truth to what's being said. And I believe the more credible you are, the more of a threat you are. And so one of the things I do believe is that is what is going to be going on in regards to Meghan. So when this, and again, I believe Meghan is lazy, and I'm going to say this as well. So of course she's gone into something that is, in a sense, not really an effort for her. And I've heard that she's going to be a co-producer, producer, a one-stop shop, everything about me. And that's, again, not a shock, because she's a narcissist, in my opinion. So of course she's going to want to control everything. But the problem you have with that is, if you're controlling everything and you don't have somebody that actually has knowledge, because let's face it, she has no knowledge in creating something along these lines. So she's going to have a runner, and then she's going to have, I think she's got somebody either producing with her, or she's got a director or something like that, or I don't know. But for the most part, she's controlling all of it. But like I say, the problem with that is, if you don't have somebody that has knowledge on these things, you're setting yourself up for it to not work, because you've only got what you think. And that's why you would have a group of people that would kind of go, you know what, actually, you would do your research into this as well. That works, that doesn't work. Okay, this is what the audience is going to want to see. That's not so much. And it feels to me that Meghan is not going to have that. It's going to be like, well, this is what I want, and this is what we're going to do. And that's where it's going to fall down. Now, yes, like I said, I feel that it's going to be successful in the viewing terms, because people like myself are going to watch some of this to critique it. And constructive criticism, which is what I tend to do, is crucial, I believe, in what makes the world go round. I mean, I don't pertain, even with my training. I don't pretend to know everything about everything, and I'm open to other people that, you know, when I speak to fellow therapists or my my supervision, sometimes they will tell me something and I'm like, oh, you know what, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Because if you believe that all your opinion, the only opinion that matters is yours, then that's pretty arrogant. And in a way shows how limited you are. For me, knowledge is expandable. So when you're putting yourself out there and you have all these other people kind of going, yeah, that's a good idea. Or actually, do you know what? Have you thought about it this way? But unfortunately, when you're dealing with a narcissist, you won't have that, because it's going to be, nope, this is my way and this is what we're doing and we're not deviating from that. And you're not going to tell me what to do and you're fired because I don't like your opinion or don't like how you look. And that is what we've got here. But of course, she settles into, and which is what has happened before, is she's gone back to the TIG. Let's be honest. But what she's got now is she's got a platform to do a series on it, which she didn't have before. So if you're going to look at it that way, she had a TIG on Instagram. She's now got the whatever it is on Instagram, even though nothing's come of it so far. But she's still got an incredibly small following. You know, when you look at other celebrities, they have got millions of followers. She hasn't even reached 1 million yet. So, and I would imagine that a lot of those are bots as well. So she has such a small following that in a way, the only way this is going to be seen as a success is in the viewing, and that's it. But that's because people, like I say, like myself and journalists and other YouTubers and anyone like, you know, general public are going to possibly tune in. Now, some might avoid it, but some are going to tune in because they want to see her mess up, in all honesty. I have, in all my time of, in a way, watching things publicly or social media, I don't think I've ever come across somebody that others want to see fail as much as what some people want to see Meghan fail. And the reason being is because of what she's done and how she's behaved. And I will lump Harry in with that as well. Though I think that Meghan is the one that people mostly want to see. Now, if you're looking at that, say if I was from the outside looking in, I would think that's really horrible. But I don't, because I get it. I'm not saying that as, you know, in a way there's two of me. There's therapist Emma, and then there's Emma, my personal opinions. And sometimes they align and sometimes they don't. So professionally, I can look at this and think, oh, you know, that's not great, but I understand it. And then the personal side of me is, yeah, absolutely, because you know what? You've lied. You've built everything that you have on a lie. And it's not just about to do with the royal family. You've built it around the lie you've told around your own family, the lies that you've told about your poor father. Whether you agree with some of the things that they've done, or it doesn't matter. The fact is that that man, even if he spoilt her, which I believe he did, but I can't think for 1 second that when he was raising her, when her mother was wherever she was, and again, I've got to be careful because most of us know kind of where she was, that he thought for 1 second that this young girl was going to turn into the woman that she is now. I don't believe that. I think any one of us that have gone through something with our children when they've become adults never think of that that's going to happen when they're children. He overcompensated for her. He didn't give her consequences. Yeah, absolutely. But there's also a lot of parents, and I know this because I've worked with them, that also do the same thing. But they don't think, well, when they're adults, they're going to turn out to be narcissistic or turn their back on you or whatever it is. You don't think that far ahead. Perhaps maybe you should, but you don't. And so look at the lies that she's built. And I imagine that stretches to the relationships, and not just Harry, all of them. The friendships, the relationships, that somewhere along the way she's embellished, she's lied. I mean, look, she even lied about being in the union. She says this very openly. You know, she lied. She has got no qualm in lying. So when you have a person like that, you know that anything they do is going to be dishonest. You know, you always look at that. You always look at the behavior of somebody. So this thing with Netflix now, I feel this is just going to be like, well, you know what, we've got to do something. Harry, you do polo because that's what you're kind of okay at and it's what you know and you don't have to work too hard about it. Just have the camera crew follow you around, just do a few bits, you'll be fine. And then with Meghan, it's like, oh, what do I really like to do? Oh, I like to cook. I don't believe for 1 second she really does. She might like it a little bit, but I don't think she likes it to the extent that she, like we know that she does things to groom people. Like she turned into this wannabe chef with Corey Vitiello. She wasn't interested in it before, but suddenly, you know, he's a chef, and so it's like, oh, I'm a foodie all of a sudden. And we know then with Harry, it's like, you know, he's wanting to go to Africa and do all of those things. Or suddenly I'm a humanitarian and I want all the things that you want, Harry. She knows she's a chameleon. So she knows how to change herself, which is what the TIG was, in all fairness. The TIG was a way in for her. It was a way for her to mix in those circles to get her where she needed to be. Her relationships were the way in to get her to the next stage of where she needed to be. If you literally do the timeline, each one of her relationships she utilized to get her to the next step. And as soon as she got there, they were discarded. That's what's going to happen with Harry. As soon as she has got whatever her next step is, he will be gone. At the minute, she's not found it. And a lot of that is down to their own behaviour being so public. I'm imagining people are kind of wanting to avoid her like the plague. So until she finds somebody that's suitable, he's still in there. And that's why I believe they have this business arrangement as a relationship now. So in the eyes of Netflix, because I have heard that their contract is not going to be renewed in 2025. So this is probably the last thing that they've got to do. They've got to do something before the contract is up for renewal, possibly because they want to get that last bit of money. I don't know. And so this is what I think they're doing. So people are going to tune in to Meghan. They are going to tune in to see what she's doing, how she's doing it, but mainly because they're going to want to critique it. They're going to want to look at how possibly ridiculous she is or the things that she's doing wrong. And unfortunately, she's only got herself to blame for this because she set this up. When you open yourself up to lying and doing the things that you've done, in a sense, it's almost like it's like a free-for-all, really. It's kind of like, well, you've done that, so now I don't feel bad about doing that to you and now exposing who you are. The only difference being is that they're in the background trying to censor other people in talking about them negatively. So I think this will go the same type of way as her podcast. It will possibly be a one-hit wonder. And of course, I believe she's going to be utilising her Duchess of Sussex title. You know, but we know that they'll do that as well. I mean, Harry, yes, but her, you know, it's not going to be Meghan Markle. I doubt it. It's going to be, oh, the Duchess of Sussex is doing this, that and the other. But she is going to be scrutinised within, you know, through the eye of a needle. People are going to be watching her, and I'm going to be doing the same. I'm not saying that I'm going to watch every single episode of what she does, but I think that when you're putting yourself out there publicly, and I know that from being a small channel, you have to expect that people are not going to like you, that people are going to critique you. And I have had that. But the difference is, if you're a strong enough person within yourself, all you see are complete strangers looking at something for 20 minutes and having a perception on that. They don't know me. And in all fairness, I don't know Meghan personally. However, but what I do know is I know people. I know behaviour. And that's why I feel that I can talk about the things that I do, because I know the type of person and personality that she is. I've been doing this a long time. But if she was a strong enough person, she wouldn't be bothered about the critics. She wouldn't care. If she knew who she was and she truly didn't, and it truly didn't resonate with her somewhere, she wouldn't be bothered. She'd be like, oh, do you know what? Think what you like. A bit like how, in a sense, the royal family, the royal family are criticised. Catherine is criticised. William is criticised. But the reason it doesn't necessarily bother them so much when it comes to the people that are against them is because they know who they are, and they surround themselves with people that also know who they are. When you know yourself, it doesn't matter what somebody else says. The problem you have with Harry and Meghan is they don't really know themselves. Some of the things that, most of the things that are probably said about them are true, and it bothers them because their personal appearance, their personal persona that's out there publicly is everything to them. So people that speak out about them, that are exposing elements, then that creates someone else to look at that and potentially change their mind. And the more people that do that, the more it bothers them. And that's why they want to shut people down. Whereas the truth will set you free, not in Harry and Meghan's case. The truth is damaging to their brand, if you like, because the more they're exposed, the harder it is for them. So if they shut that all down, then all they will have is all the positive things, and that's all they care about. So I don't believe, like I say, that this will be a success. I generally don't. In views, I think Meghan's will possibly more of a success than Harry's, which will potentially annoy him. But it will only be as in like a one-hit wonder, and it won't be. But I do believe that even though the mainstream media will probably be sycophantic about her and how amazing, and oh, look at the amazing chicken she's cooking, or the waffles that she's toasting, in her ball gown of thousands and thousands of dollars, the rest of us who actually look for the truth are going to print that. And that's what they don't like. And like I say, and the truth is right there with her Instagram is that she hasn't even reached 1 million followers. So that really does show you, when you think of how many billions of people there are in the world, she doesn't really have a big fan base. She really doesn't. So I don't see this being, in the eyes of it being a true success, as in everyone applauding and saying how wonderful it is and what a good thing. No. Numbers, maybe. But everything else, no. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments, because I always do enjoy reading them. Please keep it respectful and as kind as you possibly can, because I do appreciate a debate, but being disrespectful to somebody else's opinion or being rude or attacking is not necessary. And if I see those comments, they will get deleted. However, I will also say that YouTube seems to be censoring a lot of comments, because I've seen some where they've said, oh, I've said this and it's not turned up. Unfortunately, that's out of my control. I don't know why they're doing it, but it is what it is. So just keep trying, maybe take out some words that you might think. I mean, I hate that because I think we shouldn't be censored, but there you are. So if you want to treat me to a cuppa, you can. The link is in the description box below, or it's just above the subscribe button. Please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, because that does help the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed already, then please do, because then you do not miss future uploads. And also then you become, you can be part of my competitions that I do. If you haven't become a member, then also think about doing so, because again, you do get instant access to all competitions, whether you're whereas if you're not a subscriber, you don't, because that's part of the that you have to be a subscriber and at least a member. You get specialist, like there are certain videos that are members only, so you get that as well. What else? Anything else is in my description box of every single channel. My email address is there. My PO box is there. If you want to write to me, send me something, send the fluffies something, you can do so. You have my address if you need it. My other channels are there, Tea and Therapy. Some people have said that they're not able to find my Tea and Therapy channel when they look for it. I don't know why. I generally don't. So the link is in the description box below, or if you go to the end of this video, you will see a circle with tea and therapy in it. That is the channel, so you can click on that there. That's always going to be at the end of every single one of my videos. Yeah, so I think that's kind of it. So unless they do something else, the next video that I'm going to do coming up on Friday is I'm going to break down the, and this is going to be a bit triggering for some people, so the miscarriage, or mythcarriage, should I say, story that she put out. I'm going to be talking into that, and I'm also going to be talking about the versions in Harry's book and how they differ, and I'm going to break that down and talk about that as well. So that's going to be coming up on Friday. So like I say, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. And for everything else, thank you again so much for all of your support. It really does mean a lot to me. As I always say, without you, I wouldn't be able to do this channel. So I do really, really appreciate it. And I know Arthur does, even though he is Snoresville right now. So yeah, so in the meantime, have a great rest of the week, whatever you are doing, and I will see you on Friday for the next video. So in the meantime, as always, take care. I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.